Hello. In this episode, we'll see how to use Google Colab. Okay, before I start, what is Google Colab? Okay, and I think I don't know. Google Colab is like a web-based environment that will let you use and run Python codes. And also the nice feature is that it will actually already have pre-installed the TensorFlow and many packages. So for machine learning and deep learning, makes it easy. And you don't even have to install a program on your computer. It will use the Google's server to run it. And sometimes you want to run it fast. You can even use the GPUs kind of things. So, and it's all the web-based kind of development environment. Okay. So what I'll do here today is that we set it up the environment in the last episode. So I'll show you how to invoke, upload data on Google Drive, and then how to use and run Google Colab. Okay, so here we go. The first thing you do is that, well, if you open up a browser and Google and have your account signed in, then you can access your Google Drive. So here's Google Drive. Okay? And remember last time when we first save a program using Google Colab, it creates a folder called Colab Notebooks. So within there, let's go in there. I don't have any files there right now. But I did prepare a file, so I'll show you how of course. And of course, if you don't have any file, last time I showed you, you can just type the Google Colab. Just do a capture. If you just go to Google Colab and you start a new notebook, you can do that. But if you do already have a program, what you can do is that you go to Colab Notebooks and then click New, and then File Upload. And I am going to show you, so here's the program I prepared. You can just upload it on Google Drive in the Colab Notebook folder. And if you click on this, it will load the program. So here, for a summary, I did actually list it as a text. So remember the Jupyter have a text feature, which is not a programming part of the programming language. It's just a message for you to read. So you can have many of these, how to set up a Google account and all those kind of things are here. Okay? But here, so this is how you open up a program, and we haven't learned any Python language yet. So, but I will show you just one thing, which is how do you read in files? So suppose that I do have a file that I want to read, an Excel file that I want to read. And so here I created one. Here's a GDP local. Okay. So here is a file that contains in each year how much the GDP was. And I want to upload it on my Google Drive. So how do I do this? I do upload and GDP local. And here's the GDP local CSV. Okay. Okay. All right. Can I rename it? Yeah, let's say this is not a local file anymore. It's on GDP on Google Drive. So let me just rename it gdp.csv. Okay, so this is the file name. All right. So there are two ways to use if you have Excel file, and one is directly read it from your computer. Okay, so here what we call a local drive. So I have my computer hard disk drive, and here I have a file called GDP local. I also uploaded just now, as I've shown you, on Google Drive GDP.csv. I renamed it to GDP just to avoid confusion. So, and this is on Google Drive, meaning it's sitting on Google server now, isn't it? It's on Google server. Using Google Colab, I can access either files, and I want to just make sure. And you will just type the exact, copy the lines. So in the future, if you want to do this kind of things, so here's how to do it. So if you type from google.colab import files, and in the next line, whatever you want to name the file, upload it, I name it, equal files.upload parentheses. And if you just run this, it will wait. And actually you can see here below, choose files. So if you click on here, you can go to wherever you want to. So here's my folder where actually on my computer it is, the file GDP_local. And it will read the file. So now actually it's being read into this program. Okay? It doesn't mean that the Python program actually read the CSV file as a Python program in a variable, but it is sitting on Google server to be ready to be read. Okay, so it's put on the table. So you actually need to read it in, and we'll learn these kind of comments for, but panda read_CSV, and if you give the file name, it will basically read it. And now it's being read. So the F1 variable, it actually is read in this file. Okay. So the point is that here is, so these two lines, if you use these lines in the future, you can read any Excel file you want to. It basically lets you to choose the file, and you can read it in. Another way to do it, and there are a couple of comments like shape. So if this variable name, what is the shape of it? It says 10-2. What that means is that this GDP_local has 10 rows and 2 columns. And that's the shape of this Excel sheet data, 10 and 2. Okay, so we'll talk about it in future classes when we review Python language. But the important thing is that you can read the CSV file on external data in Google Colab. Another way of doing it is that if you have a file on Google Drive, which I just uploaded a file, GDP.csv file, and if you want to use that, how you do it is that from google.colab import drive, then drive, the next line, drive.mount, and then /mount. So this is where in the Google server locating where your data is, your root directory is. So if I click this, what it will ask me is that connect to Google Drive. I'll say yes, please do. Okay. And I'll say continue. Okay. All right. Okay. Continue to Google Drive, and here I select what the desktop can access. I want them to be access all the things. Okay. All right. And it's mounted. Okay. So now what it will do is that my Google Drive at the Google server, the location of my Google Drive there is, I can access that location at mount / and then my drive. Okay. And then, so that is my Google Drive here, my drive. Okay. This is my drive. And under there, I created, well, Google Colab created a Colab Notebook folder. Okay. So that is the location. And in there, there's the GDP.csv file. If I click it, there you go, it read it. So df2, if I ask what shape it is, of course, it's the same file, just renamed it. So it's here, right? So this is how you upload file from Google Drive. So in Google Colab, I just showed you how to access the file, how to upload a Python file, like in a Jupyter Notebook. And given that you know Jupyter Notebook, pretty much how to use it is pretty much the same. If you have a plus code, it will open up a Python code. Okay, like a code that Python can understand. Of course, you can delete that, like having here the trash. I can also add a text here, big text, and you can have it, isn't it? And then if I further want, so after the big text, here I can again have like a equal to, and execute it and say a, whatever I do, so it's a Python code. So you can see that you can add as many code cells or text cell, and you don't need to have, as you can see, one Python comment in one cell. You can have 100 lines of comments in here. It's just that it makes it convenient for between the text where you want to lump Python codes together, have a separate cell for it. Okay. All right, so this is all I got for Google Colab, and there are many features. There are many YouTubes for Google Colab, even provided by Google. So I encourage to explore them to familiarize it. But this summarizes the basic operation of how to use Google Colab. Okay. Thank you.